now to some other big headlines for you. French President Emmanuel Macron is hosting a summit of European leaders, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, in Paris this morning. You see the two of them here. They're discussing military support for Kyiv and set out security guarantees under a potential ceasefire deal with Russia. Now, today's meeting comes as the fighting in Ukraine rages on. The Ukrainian Air Force says Russia launched 86 drones and a missile in its latest overnight attack. CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio is following all of this for us from London and joins us. Ramy, good morning to you. What more can you tell us about today's meeting?
Errol, yes, good morning. Well, it's a big one, and the third one actually this month across Europe for many of these leaders that we're seeing. About 30 of them in Paris today in this so-called coalition of the willing that was coined earlier this month. Now, French President Emmanuel Macron, we saw, welcomed Ukraine's President Zelensky there at the Élysée Palace. And the big headline from Macron today is a new pledge of military aid for Ukraine. And this is equivalent to more than $2 billion. And that is, at least by my calculations, 50% more than all the aid France has sent to Ukraine so far, which is roughly $4 billion. This newest tranche, we understand, includes air defense systems, Mirage fighter jet missiles, along with anti-tank missiles. And as we look ahead to today, we're expected those talks to focus on more of that kind of military support. Zelensky says he expects more pledges from more European countries. They're also expected to focus on how to monitor that Black Sea ceasefire that was just agreed on Tuesday. Also about the possibility of European boots on the ground in Ukraine. That's being referred to as a reassurance force. But, you know, of course, Errol, the Kremlin will in all likelihood push back against that.
And Ramy, I want to drill down on that a bit, because speaking in Jamaica yesterday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Washington was still evaluating those demands by Russia to lift certain sanctions before it will abide by that Black Sea ceasefire agreement. So what reaction is there in Europe to these Russian demands? Yeah,
pushback. EU leadership in Brussels pushed back against that very quickly yesterday. The European Commission said that it would not even think about removing sanctions on Russia if Moscow did not first withdraw all of its troops from Ukraine. The EU had said that this had to be unconditional. Zelensky also pushed back, no surprise, hoping that Washington, in his words, will stand strong. He said more in Paris. Take a listen.
Look, they put forward the conditions with regard to these sanctions to the Americans. If America is going to stand strong and be strong and not bend to the conditions of the Russians, we stand on our land. We're defending it now. And our resilience, we've shown our resilience to everyone. And now it's very important that our partners would be resilient and strong, at least at the minimum as we are. Or perhaps
will the Americans stay strong?
I hope so. I hope so. God bless, they will.
All right, hope and a prayer there from Zelensky. He also praised Europe while he was there. He said that Europe has discipline and that Europe has no chaos. And that was perhaps an obvious implication or maybe some kind of pushback against the United States that potentially U.S. does have some chaos under the Trump administration. Errol.
Really interesting updates there. Ramy, thank you very much.